We're live. Welcome back, everybody, to the Side Hustle Experiment. I am Simon, but younger and more attractive. I'm kidding, obviously. I'm Henry. I have met most of you before. Simon couldn't make it to the session today, so you are stuck with me and the lovely Alan and Katie Donegan. Welcome, guys.
Hello. We are so excited to be here. Looking forward to this.
We're all here just for you, and I'm excited to ask you some difficult questions that you may or may not be able to answer. For anyone who's not seen me interview the Donegans before, my goal is to try and get them to something they can't deal with. But we'll see how we go.
Henry, you know my weaknesses, so that will be quite easy.
Did you see how my camera zoomed in on my face then, just to give it a bit of seriousness?
It was very dramatic.
And then zoom out. I've never used this tech before, so we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully it does it for comedic effect like Jim from The Office. But anyway, we've had a whole bunch of questions come through. We've got some amazing questions. I'm super excited to get stuck in. This is going to take us through the night, and I'm excited to see what kind of things we get answered. And I'm hoping that we get everybody over the line. Dot, it is lovely to see you. I recognize that smile anyway. How are you? It's been a while. There we go. So we've got a few questions here. One of them was very, very important to us here at Rebel, and it was about the courses that are coming up. And whilst I could give it a go at answering those sorts of questions, we suddenly realized we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ewan Pope on this very stream. So one of the questions we've had, actually quite a lot of people ask the same thing. What are our upcoming courses that you're able to get involved in? And I want to pass this over to Ewan to jump on and talk to everybody. Ewan, everybody, please, big round of applause.
That's a very good question. And I have the full list of courses upcoming here that I will share with you all right now. So next week, we're going to be in Brent for an in-person course. So if you're near the area, please sign up for that. The week after, starting the 8th, we'll be in Glasgow. We're doing something in Newham, a two-session course on the 9th and the 16th of December. We're doing a course in RBKC, Kensington and Chelsea. That'll be in January. We'll be on the Isle of Wight in January. And finally, most importantly, we'll be running version 2 of the Side Hustle Experiment in 2026, and that will be starting in January. Dates are yet to be confirmed, but you can sign up now on the website.
Amazing. Thank you, Ewan. And where would people be able to find this list of events if they want to see for themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you go to the Rebel School website and the events page, everything will be on there. And I'll post a little link in the chat now.
And if people are watching on catch up and dates might have changed or there's new stuff coming out, always just go back to that page to find the latest events.
Exactly. Thank you, Ewan.
Love it. So as you can see, we've been busy. We've got a few courses coming up. We will, of course, send this stuff to you as well. So because you've signed up to the course, you'll get some emails from us with what's coming up. But we'd love to see you, even if you just pop in for a day of a course. Come hang out, come say hi, come and get the answers you need. But without further ado, let's get stuck in. Alan, Katie, I'm going to ask you a bunch of random questions sent in by these lovely people. Do you want me to go in any particular order?
No, just start from the top. Let's get going.
So you do want me to go in a particular order, which is top down. I will do that. Love you lots. Right. So I'm going to start with, I'm reading these in real time, by the way. Look at that intenseness. Fiona has sent in a question, and this is about taking photos of her watercolor. So the question is, hey guys, I paint watercolors. I want some tips on how to take pictures of my paintings so they look as close to the original colors as possible. Could I use my phone for this, or do I need to get out the DSLR, of which I'm not happy with? What do you think?
So my first thought was we need Naomi here. She did a session on the Side Hustle course about taking photographs. And then my second thought was, I could get AI to coach me on this. So what I would do if I was in Fiona's situation was I would open up an AI chat and I would say, here's what I'm doing. I want photos of this. This is my phone coach me to take photos of it. Then I would follow the instructions, and then I would upload the photo I've taken to get feedback, creating a loop of feedback and getting AI to tell me how to improve it. And as I was thinking about that, I did think, where else can you get feedback?
I think you can get feedback in the Rebel Business School Facebook group, Alan.
Yeah, I was thinking the Rebel Business School Facebook group. I was thinking photography Facebook groups. I was thinking there's some professionals out there who would be able to coach you and say, change this angle, change this lighting, improve this.
Because there's a few things, isn't there? There's the colouring, which Fiona said she wanted to capture, but there's also the composition and how do you make it look within the photograph. It's kind of two different but complementary skills, isn't it? To make sure that the framing looks good as well as it accurately representing your work.
Exactly. And using AI to coach you through the details will definitely help with the technical details of that project.
It's almost like we've thought about these answers before we give them. Very clear.
I spent the whole afternoon working on it.
The only one idea that I might add to this, and this is for anyone who creates any kind of artwork or sculptures or whatever, you can also use AI to show what your art looks like in situ. So you could get it to put it up on a wall, above a bed, in the living room. There's sort of that one step further you can make it real. AI is a fantastic thing to do. There are some websites that will do it as well. I don't know any off the top. Please don't ask. Cool. So I'm going to go on to some questions from Michaela. We've got quite a few questions from Michaela. Really, like to summarize one of them, which is quite a big question. Michaela's having some challenges with brand. She's had some challenges in the past. There's a bit of identity about, feels a bit weird calling it a family business and things like that. What are your thoughts on how you can create the brand, and how do you deal with stuff that's happened in the past and all of that kind of stuff? I know that's a vague question, but I know you'll have some good ideas about that sort of stuff.
My first thought is the best thing about the past,
it's over.
It's gone. So we just need to forget about what happened in the past and focus on what we want. And that's actually far harder to do than it is to say. But the key is to focus on exactly what you want. So if we've had naming issues with I got rejected with this name, I couldn't use that name, we just need to focus on what we can do and going forwards. And building a strong brand, it actually doesn't matter what the name of your business is, because you will create the brand or the emotion attached to whatever words you choose to name your business. So what we would say is just choose a name. It doesn't really matter what the name is, and then focus on creating sales, delivering an incredible experience for the people that are buying from you. And that will create a really strong brand around your name. And the better job you do for people, the more they'll remember you, the more they'll know who you are, and the stronger brand you will create. So, message to everyone out there who's listening: anything that's happened in the past, we just need to leave it in the past and focus on what we want.
Perhaps take the learning from it, right? So what did you learn from that, and use that, whereas stop kind of lingering there, get the lesson and then draw a line and go, okay, what do I want? And how might Michaela or anyone listening focus on what they want? Because that can be quite an overwhelming thing to think about, isn't it? How do I do that, and how do I keep myself focused on the positive and what I actually want, rather than keep kind of ruminating and getting stuck on the negative?
So the key to that is to know what you're aiming for. And we've a couple of times during the course talked about the vision of what your business will be, and then coming back every day, starting with, what am I trying to build? Where am I aiming? What's my vision for the future? And then doing what you can to create that vision. And that's what Katie and I do. That's what we try to do at Rebel. Here's the vision of the future. Let's take action to build that future. And if you can do that every day, it's incredible how your actions will compound to create the future you want.
Do I need to trademark my business name and do copyright and patents and all that stuff?
The short answer is, if you're starting out, is no, because people are going to copy you. And actually, copying is a sign of flattery. People will copy you. We had an incident many years ago where we used to be called PopUp Business School. Those were the days. And this guy in Scotland completely copied our name called PopUp Business School. He launched an event, he publicized it everywhere, and I spent some time being angry that he'd stolen our name until I realized everyone who he promoted that event to Googled PopUp Business School and found us. So he actually did a bunch of promotion work to find us. So more important than trademarking your name is working to make sure your website turns up #1 for the name you've chosen. That's the most important piece of work you can do.
That was a good answer. I knew what you were going to say, and I'm impressed. That was a brilliant answer. I love that. There was another question from Michaela, sort of in a similar, well, actually not a similar thread, but in the same list, which was actually a question for Simon, which I'm conscious I don't want to lose them just because Simon's not here. So, Alan, Katie, I just wanted to throw this one to you. Can you talk about the path that you may have taken to get to the skill level in coaching that we're at, and particularly that Simon's at, but without spending a lot of money on certifications? What advice would you give to someone who is just starting out and wants to improve?
My favorite piece of advice is if you read the top 3 books on any subject, you will know more than 95% of people in the world. Like, that's it. And books are particularly cheap. It's an incredible source of information. And if you think about it, a book is a lifetime of a human's learning condensed into a few hundred pages for you. It's the most valuable thing you could ever get. So read the top 3 books on coaching, and then your second step is to implement that, like at a pace no one else has ever seen. And I was thinking about how would I go about implementing it. You could put out there, I'm willing to coach someone for free to get a testimonial to start going. I thought, well, why don't you go and find someone who's in real pickle, real trouble? Go and find someone who's living on the street and go, I want to coach you and help you be successful. And the things you will learn from trying to help someone else will blow your mind. So I would read the top 3 books, implement, and then religiously take down notes of what I've learned and how I can improve. And I don't care what the subject is: personal finance, presenting, time management. This is my learning strategy that I've used over the decades to get where I've got to and to do what I do.
That is something you are particularly good at, is actually implementing what you read and putting it into practice. And actually, part of Michaela's question was, well, you know, am I not going to kind of scare off clients in the beginning when I'm practicing? Because she did acknowledge it will take a lot of practice. And how do you kind of navigate that you're not as good to start with? Of course you're not as good. You're as a beginner. You haven't got the experience.
You have a go, and if it goes wrong, you apologize and then you make it right. And you do everything you can to fix it, because we all have to start somewhere. The first YouTube video I did with Simon, let's get real here. Katie's laughing because it's somewhat embarrassing. We were on our cream leather couch in our Basingstoke flat, and the dishwasher was open behind us. There was the washing up everywhere.
We used the dishwasher as a draining rack because we didn't have anywhere else to put it. So when we washed stuff by hand, we would leave it in the dishwasher. And Simon and Alan didn't think to perhaps tidy that up in the background. But that was version 1, wasn't it? And then you get to version 2, and people kind of forgive you for it because you're trying, you're doing your best, and that's all you can ask.
You just have to start with the best intentions possible, and if it doesn't go well, put it right. And that kind of integrity will shine through, and people will understand that.
I just tried to see if I could find the first ever YouTube video you made, but I couldn't find it in that short period of time.
Let's not show anyone that ever again, Henry.
You just have to go to the Rebel School YouTube channel and scroll back to the beginning of time, don't you?
I think that's exactly what you have to do, Katie.
That video is going to get a bunch more extra views now. I'm very excited to see all the
Which is talking about a Western Supermare course that was 15 years ago.
It was brilliant. It's one of the first videos I saw when I joined the team. It's good times. So I'm just gonna keep plowing through. Please tell me if you want me to stop, if you need a break, or I don't know, you just want a bit of banter, I don't really mind. Oliver,
let's make sure we check the chat so we have the questions from the live people as well. If you've got questions for us, please put it in the chat or the Q&A feature on Zoom.
I've got one.
Because we are here for you.
So going back to, we were helping Fiona think about how to photograph her artwork, and you said, well, just one idea is to get AI to coach you through how to do it. And Hilary asked, can you use AI for free and get good results? She's just getting used to using it, so didn't know.
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
You absolutely can. Pick your favorite AI, have a go. Some of them have limits with how many times you can chat to it. Some of them you can chat as much as you want, but it's a bit slower giving you responses. The AI we use is Copilot. There's ChatGPT, there's Perplexity, there's a huge amount of them. I really like the fact that Copilot has an app. So for that particular one, you can take a photo straight into the app and ask it to assess the photo and give you feedback. In fact, we were just using it today in the supermarket in Colombia because we're searching for detergent. And I'm taking pictures of it saying, is this one going to work? Please translate, tell me how to use it. And it's a phenomenal feature. So yes, you can absolutely get huge value from the free ones. Just have a go.
I don't think I've ever used a paid one, if I'm completely honest. I've got everything I need out of just ChatGPT or just Copilot. They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. And we talk about this stuff all the time, and finding new ways of just making your life a little bit easier, doing that stuff that normally takes you a couple of hours, asking those questions you don't normally have someone to ask about it. I don't know that many photographers, and if Naomi doesn't pick up the phone, I don't know who to speak to. So things like Copilot are amazing to have. They really are. There was a question in the chat from Iona about trademarks and how expensive they are. And that was going back to one of Michaela's questions. I guess I know you guys will have a whole bunch of stuff on this. My initial reaction to that is trademarks are only as expensive, like depending on how much you're willing to uphold it. Just because you've got a trademark doesn't stop anybody from copying you. You've still got to go through the process of taking them on legally. It's expensive, it's painful, it's a whole bunch of headache that you don't need. So I guess just to reframe it, you can go and get a trademark and it will be helpful. And also you need to be prepared to follow it up. That's the bit that's expensive. What's in your guys' head about it?
The best use of anyone's time is working to promote their own business. Because if everyone knows you are that brand name, no one else can steal it. So work on your search engine optimization, work on the fact you show up at the top of the listings, work on the fact that everyone knows you are the person with that business name. That is your best defense. And it's that expression of actually your attack is your best defense, because you can defend yourself with trademarks, or you can get out into the world and tell everyone you are that brand. That's the best way to do it.
Agree.
Come towards me.
Come towards you. Am I moving too far away? Sorry.
Got to do rule of thirds. I was thinking about the photography thing, and we had to be on the rule of thirds, and I got a little bit OCD about it. Cassandra says, have you got any tips for people starting businesses to help them communicate their offer to potential new customers? AI is an obvious source for ideas. Have you got anything else? Because, you've been doing this before AI existed. So what ideas do you have without using AI?
Or how did I learn? I read books on sales, like back to reading the top 3 books on sales, and then how to communicate your message. If I was to give tips directly, it would be focus on the problem that you're fixing. So you uncover whether the person has the problem. Then you ask questions to find out how much that problem is costing them: time, energy, money, emotional pain and stress.
So you're trying to kind of like amp up the pain to then come in with a solution in a kind way, right?
In a nice way. You want to uncover if it's a real problem. Once you've done that, and if you've done it well, they will be asking you questions about your solution to their problem. And that's the key, is uncovering whether the person has the problem that you fix.
And how do I find these people? Do you just kind of scattergun in the street, or is it So Cassandra's question was about communicating to potential new customers. I'm going to extend that and say, well, where are my customers? Or how do you know if, like, you want it like at least a warm lead, or at least an idea that they might be interested, right? Because otherwise you're going to waste a lot of time speaking to a lot of people that are not your target.
Yeah. So how we did it before AI was to work out who had the problem and what type of person it was. So you would work out these people work for X business, they go to X place, they are like lawyers or solicitors, or they are business people, or we'll find them on LinkedIn, or they're a certain age. Now we've got AI, you could literally say to AI, this is the problem I fix. Tell me who is most likely to have that problem. And you'll get a list of potential targets. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them different ways. You could ring them, mail them, send them a flyer, turn up at their house and say hello. Whatever it is.
It's creepy.
You've got to get to them and share the message. But the finding the client bit has become way easier with the databases of people you can reach very, very quickly.
Completely. Do you remember the guy who came to our course in, I want to say it was Tower Hamlets, who made the dolls houses? And
yes.
These were the most intricate dolls houses you've ever seen. And I think he was selling these things for like 1,500 quid, £2,000. These huge, amazing, like Victorian style things. And he was hand making every part. And his big challenge was, how do I put this in front of customers who've got money? How do I find the right people? Because it's quite niche. It's probably quite a niche audience. So, yeah, and again, just to your point, if you had AI to try and figure out who it is I need and where would they hang out, this guy figured out that all of the people he wanted to try and sell to were in Chelsea. So then he spoke to a cafe around the corner from one of the private schools, persuaded them to let him sit at the front of the cafe in the window, making one of the dolls houses. And then lo and behold, as soon as the school run time comes around at the start and end of the day, he's doing this incredible thing in front of a bunch of parents of young children who have got a bit of budget because they live in Chelsea, presumably. And he captured a whole bunch of email addresses and he flogged a fair few of these things. And it was just that outside of the box thinking of, he's the only guy making dolls houses in that cafe. He's the only one that's going out and doing it. And there's a phrase, it's the marketing phrase of don't be the best, be the only. And that's an amazing example of that. He wasn't trying to be the best doll's house and competing with everyone else. He was just the only one that was there in the community. And it's fantastic how it's just a tiny, tiny shift of perspective. But you can absolutely do that. And with AI, it puts that on steroids. But yeah, there's so many ways we can get in front of our own customers. It's great.
Love that, Henry. That's fantastic. Did you have the next question, Katie or Henry?
I'll go. Caroline says, are there any cheap serviced offices available in Central or Zone 2 in London? I need a 2-person office. Also, I'm planning to start a lavender-based natural home fragrance business. I'd like to start with general information about lavender, relaxation, stress reduction, etc. Build up a following and then announce on the Facebook page my new business selling lavender-based home fragrance. Is this approach ethical? Well, there's 2 questions there. So we start with it, do a reverse order.
Reverse order, is this approach ethical? I wouldn't want to hide the fact I'm doing a lavender business at the start. I'd want to be clear from the start. So if I'm building a Facebook group, a YouTube channel all about lavender, the benefits and helping people, then I would want to be very clear that this is my business too, and this is how I help people. But so many people have done that, creating a YouTube channel about reducing stress. And lavender is one way of doing it, and you always offer your products in the videos. There is no problem with that at all. So you can 100% follow that approach. I'm just a big fan of transparency up front. This is my business. This is what I'm doing. This is how I help you.
I think Caroline's talking as well, perhaps in the Rebel Business School Facebook support group as well. So, what a few people have asked this in the questions, like what is and isn't permitted in terms of selling your stuff, promoting your stuff. How does that work in the Facebook group?
The Facebook group is to support each other with business and to help each other. It's not really a forum just to like sell stuff to the other people in the support group. That's not the idea of it. The idea is, oh, I've got a question. How do I photograph my artwork? How do I do this? And we work together to build our businesses. You can ask, where might I go to sell my lavender products? That's a completely different thing. But you need to actually think, where's my target client? What groups are they in? And actually head out into the world to find the customers. That is the best thing you can do, is go off and find new customers.
And Caroline's other question was about the low-cost office space in central London.
Henry actually managed to get free office space when he first joined Rebel Business School.
How did you do that, Henry?
I did. You know what? My favourite skill that I've adopted since joining the team, 11 years ago, may I add, I was 3 when I joined. The bartering is the biggest thing. You've got a bunch of skills. That's why you're here. That's why you're starting a business. How can you trade what you've got for what you need? It's one of the first things we teach on the Rebel School. When I started at Rebel, I found it really difficult doing my morning commute, which was about 3 feet from my bed to my desk. The curtains weren't even open yet. I was sort of telling Alan, I've been working since 8:30 at 10. No, I was on it all the time. What do you mean? But I found, I worked at a pub in my evenings at the same time, and there was a guy who was in there. He was obviously very wealthy. Turns out he ran a business in Basingstoke. So I just said, can I have a desk in your office? Because I want to get out of the house. And he said, no. Why would I do that? And I said, well, please. and we kept chatting, and it turns out he was selling his current business and building another one, and he needed a website made. And for those of you who don't know, my background before I joined the team was web design. So I offered him a free website, which I built on Weebly at the time, but it had been the equivalent of a Wix site. I built it completely for free, didn't cost me any money. I gave him that, and then he just gave me the office. And for him, he's just saved himself 15 grand. And I've just done that, and I haven't got to pay any rent to be in this office. And I was in there for probably about 2 years on and off. And it was just this amazing, huge glass building, glass elevators, free coffee, attractive people everywhere. It was fantastic. And while I'm on the subject of space, there's a couple of other, so we've actually got a program on at the moment in central Westminster with Grosvenor, who are one of our corporate partners. They've got some co-working space in one of their buildings in Victoria that they want to fill with businesses. So I've put the link in your question. You can go in and apply, and we'll do everything we can to get you in. But that'll be 6 months to 12 months of free office space. It's pretty damn good. Had a meeting with them today. All things going well.
That's awesome, Henry. That is absolutely fantastic. Katie, do you have the next question?
Stephanie had a question in the Q&A on Zoom, and I think it was also related to a question that we had submitted ahead of time, which was about mini experiments. And the idea is like understanding this idea of mini experiments. Try something out, see if you like it, see if you get customers. But how do you know at what point to assess? Do you let it go for a few months, a few weeks, a few hours? Like, how do I know when and where to assess whether it's working, whether I should do more?
So for me, you want to make it as tight as possible. So if you can do a 2-week experiment, built the website, contacted lots of people, made some sales, and see what happens, the tight as possible. But we know that in some industries, the sales process is a lot longer.
And that's what Stephanie said. She said, I realised sales takes building relationships, and that, depending what you're selling, is not a quick thing. No. And for Rebel Business School, it takes us anywhere from 6 months to a year to sell a program. That is a long sales cycle. Ideally, you would look to do it far quicker. And a mini experiment could be you contact 20 clients, you find out their problem, you pitch your solution, and you get feedback. And if you've got second meetings and you're progressing, you know that it's good enough to keep going. If you don't get any second meetings and everyone stares at you and goes, what are you talking about? You've got some market feedback that will determine whether or not you want to keep going.
And the way I evaluate a mini experiment is with three things. Number one, did the client enjoy it? So if I've sold something, did they get value out of it? Did they give me good feedback? Are they happy?
So you would directly ask them how it went for them.
100%. This is the only way to know. Like sell
you just
something and then ask them. You can do. Most people like to mind read. I tend to avoid that and just ask. Number two, did you enjoy delivering it? Because that's a big part of what we talk about is building a business that you love doing. Did you enjoy doing the work? So if the client enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. The third question is, did you make any money? Or is there any prospect of making money? Because maybe the first time you undercharge, maybe you don't know quite what the profitability is, but did they make any money, or are there green shoots that say you might be able to make money in the future? And if all those three are looking good, I would press in and do another round of the mini experiment. If the answer to any of those, like the client didn't enjoy it, you didn't enjoy it, and you didn't make any money, pivot quickly to a different idea.
So what's this another round? Are you doing exactly the same thing? I guess you're implementing what you learned from the first round.
Yep. So you might tweak the product, you might change your sales approach, but then you launch a whole new round of marketing to find the next set of customers.
There's a great opportunity in that for finding referrals too. What we found at the early stage in new and existing relationships, to be fair, we always ask the question, is there anyone else you think needs this? Or is there anyone else I should be speaking to? It's an amazing way. I heard of one guy, I think it was one of Simon's friends, wrote into his contracts, you'll introduce me to 3 other people, won't you? And they all signed against it. So you could go that route. I think if you've got a strong relationship, you don't need to do that, but there we are. There's different ways, but referrals are a good one. I got a question from Roxana about 18 minutes ago. So sorry, Roxana, I will apologize. I'll be selling products. Do you have a strategy regarding shipping costs using standard delivery or a calculated delivery at checkout? Have you got any thoughts? I have an idea.
Go on, Henry.
I think you should go for that one, Henry, because shipping costs are just shipping costs. You kind of have to just find the person to do it, and we all love shipping companies. So maybe you can give a better answer than I can, Henry.
Have you got some baggage there, Alan?
10%.
I think it's called package when it's about shipping companies, Katie.
Oh, that's true.
I think so do you remember when I ran a clothing brand for like 5 minutes in 2016 or something?
Yeah, I do.
I stopped doing it because I became a parcel room. I was just packaging clothes and sending them. That was the business. I wasn't doing this amazing, grand, sexy thing of having a clothing brand. I was in the postal room, so I stopped. But what I learned is that it didn't matter how much I thought about and planned the perfect postage and packaging technique, something would either go wrong or it wouldn't matter anyway. So some websites that you build will, and how you sell it online, will have postage systems in it. So if you use a Wix or SumUp, for example, they'll have postage calculators. They're pretty good. Just set it up and see how it goes. If you don't have that, just take your best guess at the average cost based on whichever service you want to use is, and then check in on it in a month or two's time and see if you're losing money or gaining money. Because most companies will just charge a flat rate. They won't be paying a flat rate in the background. So basically, there isn't a right answer. And I could keep saying words, and I'll just keep saying random things like postage and packaging. Just settle on something that you think is okay and just get on with it and check in on it later.
Do a mini experiment on it.
Yeah, which is the iterative feedback loop of run a few. Did I lose money or did I make money? Change the price, test, change the price, test. And it's that feedback circle. The tighter we get the circle, the quicker we get to the actual result we want.
Are we not aiming for perfection from day one?
Well, you can. I'm not going to.
Yeah, don't bother with that.
I've never. I just want to call out that Jeff Smith, Irby the Clown, has just put a comment in the thing, and I'm so happy that you're here, Jeff. It's been so far too long. since I've seen Jeff. But anyway, should we move on to the next question?
Do it.
I have a question from Melanie. Do you have any suggestions for websites which list funding or grant award organizations? And further, do you have any guidelines on how to prepare an application, including information to gather and what we shouldn't do?
Yes, I do. I've put a list in the chat that I pre-prepared just for this occasion, but I'm going to start with something else, which is, I don't think you should bother. Grants and funding is an entire game. You have a huge amount of paperwork to fill out. You're competing for it. Sometimes you can speak to the people. Sometimes you've got to just pitch. I always come back to the best and quickest way to launch your business and to get going and to make a difference is to make a sale. And sales are very different to grant funding. And Henry's had a lot of experience about filling out the paperwork for grants. We've done a lot of that. You can see him like dying at this point. It is a huge mission and they ask for a lot.
Is it not a pleasurable process?
It's not a pleasurable process for anyone. The one thing I would say is if you're going to go down the grant funding route, never fill out the paperwork until you've been able to speak to the people. Don't bother. You're just throwing your paperwork out there. And in many instances, these grants and the funding requests are actually written for a business. They want to win the contract. And if you haven't spoken to them, you would never know that. So I've put some ideas down there. You can definitely find them. It is a very hit and miss process, and I would not recommend it. I would say create sales. Sell something of value to someone with cash. It's the quickest way to build a business and make a difference in the world.
I think this question brought me back to me, you, and Simon sitting in the top of Henley Business School in 2017. We wrote I think we spent probably about 6 hours writing a grant bid for Oldham Council. And we saw this amount of money that was available. We saw what they wanted. I think it was something like they've got £1 million to help 20 businesses or something like that. And we went, we'll change the world for £1 million. What do you mean? So we just wrote this amazing project. Look at all the stuff we could do. Oh, we'd have so much money left over and we could do some cool stuff with it. We could do this. And they came back and they went, no, that's not what we asked for. Thanks, though. And
they just wanted to help 20 people.
And that was our painful £1 million learning. Answer the question. Don't make it up.
I thought they would have liked us to help more people for less money, but that's not the game of that game. You have to answer exactly the question, show you're the best person, and even then the rating and scoring systems that they put you through, it's like a dice roll as to whether or not you'll actually get it. Yeah, and someone in the chat put, don't you get most of your funding through grants? We tend to make sales. That's most of what we do is we sell a course to someone to fix a specific problem. And that's always the way. And we've always been like, what's the person problem? And everyone who funds a course that we run has a different problem that we help them fix through what we do.
But it's not through grants. You're kind of selling the councils or the housing associations have budgets and you're just talking to them directly and they say, okay, I have some budget for that. Here you go.
Yeah. Sometimes they force you to do a tender. And that's part of it because they have to get 3 quotes for the project. But at least at that stage, you've already met them, you've talked to them, they're interested in what you're doing. And then they're like, yes, we want to buy that. You need to tender for it. So you're a long way down the line when you get to that stage.
100%. And I think that just going back to the piece you said about speak to them first. And, like some of our projects are grant funded. And some of them are just bought outright. Some of them are tenders. Some of them are something completely different. Some of them are funded by another organization prompted by this one. But it all starts with the conversation and the sale. They find a way of paying for it. So it kind of doesn't matter. You don't need to chase just grants or just bids or just this. Go and build the relationships, get them bought in, because they'll go and find a way of making it happen. That's how, like, we don't plan any of where our money comes from other than we just drive home that sale every time.
How do I build those relationships, Henry? If I'm just starting from scratch and I don't have any contacts, like where do I start?
It's a good question. There's a few ways that I would go through that. My first thing is just sitting and listening, understanding problems. There's never been a sale that we've ever made or I've ever made that hasn't been through solving a pain point. And that might be a pain point of, a council feeling like they haven't got enough support. It might be a community who just need to get like business stuff sorted and bring some more money in. It could be that they've got targets to hit and they're just nowhere near hitting them. It could be a PR problem. We've got some clients who just don't have a good image and they want to do something good to try and fix it. But you don't know that until you sit and truly listen to the problems that they're having and ask them great questions, and don't go in looking to sell, because if they're the right person, the sale will happen. You just need to be able to authentically understand what it is that they're dealing with. And in terms of how you find those people, similar to what we've spoken about already, use things like AI, use ChatGPT, find the organizations that match who you need or the people, and then just go and send out a bunch of messages, send some LinkedIn videos, whatever your flavor is, just go and do a bunch of work, get the meetings in, because you'll learn more having one meeting with a customer with a problem than you will thinking about it for 6 weeks. And I know that because I've done it.
It's 100% true. Just go and speak to someone and you learn more in a half an hour coffee than you will through hours of AI research.
I have to talk to humans.
Yes, you have to talk to humans. Humans are your route to success. Everything you want in life is done through or with other people. So make friends with other humans. It is the route to success.
It is. I've had a follow-up question from Melanie about the grant funding and awards. Melanie would love to know, how might you find those organizations spending money on this kind of thing? So if I'm looking for companies that want to invest or sponsor a website or spend a bunch of money with me, how is I best to find them? CSR companies, ESG, all that kind of stuff.
So there's a few ways. Number one, do they have a problem you're trying to fix? Number two, do they care about the problem you're trying to fix? And you'll know that by searching for the mission on their website. What's their mission? What's their foundation? What's their ESG focus? Because every big company has a different focus for their programs.
What's this ESG thing?
Environmental, sustainable, social governance. Thank you, Katie. I always get those letters wrong. It's basically, with a company, it's the team that looks to do good with the profits of the business. And each of those teams will have a specific audience they're trying to help, a specific problem they're trying to fix. So you can find the company and you'll find that in their annual report, you'll find that on their website about where they're focusing. And if you can understand their mission and then contact them and say, I understand you're trying to do this. I think I can help you. Mm-hmm. Please, can I ask you a few questions to see if it's appropriate?
I've got a story about this random stuff. Have we got time for a story?
Yes.
I feel like people are going to be storied out.
Is it 1 minute?
How long it is?
You have 60 seconds.
3 hours, probably not.
War and Peace? No. So I had one of the most transformative conversations with the director for social impact at an organization called Sodexo. They're one of the biggest utilities facilities management companies in the country, and they do school dinners at colleges and in canteens and stuff like that. They're kind of a background business, but they have a huge turnover, a huge bunch of people. So I managed to get a meeting with the director of social impact, which is exactly who we want to speak to. I sat next to a random guy on the train on the way back from Manchester, and it was a busy train, standing room only, where you've touched far too many elbows inadvertently through that track, horrible train journeys. And I still can't believe I get to pay all that money for a seat and then still have to stand up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And this guy sits next to me, and he can tell that I'm in a bit of I'm a bit flustered, red in the face. I'm trying to do some work. I've got my headphones on. I think I had Metallica on, and I was in a bit of a mood. and he nudged me, and I took my ear off or headphone, and he went, "Would you like a twirl?" I was like,
What's a twirl for international listeners? He didn't mean like a dance.
Well, I didn't know if he meant one of these or if he meant a chocolate bar, like a flake, a thing that you'd see in the top of an ice cream. Turns out he meant the chocolate bar. Thankfully, there wasn't enough room for the other, and he just started this amazing conversation, and he was just like, "You look like you need it. How are you? What are you up to?" And I was like, "Oh, this is incredible," and we started having a great chat. It turns out he's the lead. We get his role right, like bid reviewer, tender reviewer for Sodexo. So he works directly for the director of social impact. And he went, "Your business sounds really cool. Can I introduce you to Angela? I think you'd love her. I think she'd love what you're doing as well." So then 3 days later, I'm having the most impactful conversation I've ever had about Rebel, just because I took my headphone off and spoke to a stranger. And I don't know if there's a learning from this other than take chocolate bars on trains, but it was just this absolutely incredible experience, and it only happens when you're open to it. But I didn't go into that conversation trying to sell. I went into that conversation purely to learn, and I wanted to know what she was picking up, what she's seeing in the industry, what her problems are. And it completely changed how I talk about what we do. And we've seen more sales because of it. It's been a really interesting thing. I don't know if it was relevant, but I thought I'd tell it anyway.
I love it, Henry. Alex says, "My mum told me not to talk to strangers. Are you telling me I should talk to strangers on coaches, buses, wherever I am?"
And accept sweeties and candy bars from strangers.
Yes.
Perfect.
Within reason. Like if there's obvious flags, be careful. Such is life.
I think that leads us nicely into Santiago's question. Santiago says, "What's your best advice if you get negative comments or difficulties with competitors? And how do you manage other people that are not your audience but might be impacting your business negatively?" Because I guess
we have no experience with that, do we?
There's a bunch of people that are out there that might be commenting on what you're doing that might have an ulterior motive if they're competitors or they're just being trolls online. Like, how do you deal with all that stuff?
So this week we have been in the Daily Mail, Sky News, LBC Radio, Business Insider, and we have got more negative comments than you could possibly imagine. I think the Daily Mail article had about 1,000 comments ripping us to pieces. And you have a choice. You can get in there and reply, and sometimes that actually works and you can positively turn around a few people. It will definitely. Or your second choice is just to ignore them, because some people will attack you no matter what you say, and there's nothing you can do about that. And we've learnt to ignore a lot of them. Occasionally, like, we do reply. I was thinking about was it the iPaper one where we got in and answered all the comments?
Yeah, and actually it made the article go further because I think it was on Facebook, wasn't it?
The way the algorithm works.
Facebook, the algorithm saw that the post was active and there was engagement there, so showed it to a bunch more people. This was for Rebel Finance School, so we actually got a load of sign-ups from doing that, from biting the bullet and actually pulling our sleeves up and getting involved in the comments. But more often than not, we ignore it because, yeah, hate is going to hate.
The one thing you must never do is get defensive. Just stay positive and always reply. So when people say, like the stuff they said about us, like, "You're a leech on society," and I'm like, well, we try and give more than we take, and like give a comment back, but always positively. So just.
You said always reply, but you meant always reply positively.
Yes.
If you do
choose to reply, always reply positively. That's the best way to do it.
Smother them with love is our approach, isn't it?
It's generally our approach. We are getting a lot more pushback from financial advisors and different people because as Rebel Finance School grows, we're threatening their livelihoods. Because if we teach people how to invest, they don't need a financial advisor in the same way. So we are getting more stick from that community, and you can't do anything about it. You just have to positively go out in the world and do what you do. That's it. And I hope that helped.
It's easier said than done, isn't it? Because it gets to us still, doesn't it? It gets to you when someone says something. People make stuff up about you that is not true, and you feel this little like, well, that's not true, and you want to defend yourself, and you can either kind of, it goes back to focusing on what you can control and focusing on where you want to go. Do you want to be spending your time worrying about these people that are just going to be negative no matter what happens? How can I productively use my time to build my business and get to where I want to go rather than worrying about a bunch of plonkers?
One last thought is you have the verbal minority who will spit hate online, and you have the silent majority that if it's a good thing will just go, oh, that's great, and do it. So you just got to ignore the minority that spits hate and work on what you can do.
I think if I was taking advice about dealing with haters from anyone, the Donegans are who I want to listen to. The amount that we've seen over the last, just because I'm just reading the comments that are going on, because you're doing something that's different, we're going against the current, we're rebelling against what's normal, we're pissing people off. And that is a sign that we're doing the right thing. People don't usually like change. So that's really cool. Katie, go on.
You said the word rebel there, Henry. Rose asked, why have you used the word rebel, Henry? Where does this come from? Or do you want to answer this one, Alan?
Yeah, Henry, why did we use rebel?
Go on, Alan, it's yours. Answer it. You were there at the beginning.
I was there at the beginning. Basically, what we discovered is there is the traditional way of doing things that everyone tells you. Write a business plan, take out a loan, build your business, maybe make money in year 2. That's the traditional way to do it. Or you can rebel against it and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sell first and start my business in a different way. And pretty much every subject you find out there, there's the traditional way of doing things, and then there's a different way of doing things. And it's not about rebelling for rebelling's sake. I like certain rules. Like, don't murder people is a good rule, and I will always follow that. It's about rebelling against the systems or the traditional stuff that doesn't help you to be who you want to be. And I chose it because I wanted to inspire people to take a slightly different path, because it will probably lead to more happiness for you.
That's a good answer.
You broke Henry.
You did.
Or he froze.
I went to one of my favourite applications of the word rebel was we were working with a council in the south of England, and we came up with a whole bunch of cool billboard ideas. So they basically went, we've got every billboard in the city. Do you want to use them? And we're like, yes, we do. And we came up with probably the best marketing campaign we've ever come up with. And it was, I believe Craig David was from the place that we were running this event. So we came up with a marketing campaign that was, went to a business school on Monday. We were making sales by Tuesday. We were making websites by Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're selling on Sunday. It was very good. We loved it. We also had our business course will never give you up, bring you down, turn you around, all that sort of stuff. And that's where creating a business with a business plan is like putting the milk in first when you're making a cup of tea. We went super a bit weird. My favorite one was whatever happened to the Fratellis come on our business course. We just wanted to grab attention and try something new. But they came back and they said, well, it's not very traditional marketing. We'd quite like it if we just had free business course. And I remember Jack Ailing from the team, Mr. Marketing, he leaned in and went, you did hire the Rebel Business School, you realise? And the whole room just sort of melted into their chairs. It was my favourite. It's very cool. I love the word rebel. A lot of people resonate with it almost immediately, because I think I probably speak for everybody on this call. We all rebel somewhere in life. We all feel like we don't fit in somewhere, and we found it here. And that's what it's all about. I certainly have. Katie, I don't mean to alarm you, but we've had a question about Excel on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. It's made my day.
So Edith.
Alan's gone off in excitement.
Alan's doing laps. So we have had a question about Excel. The question from Edith says, this is one for Katie. I realised that I should press something after each Excel entry. I don't have a running total of costs because I forgot this one step. Could you speak a little bit to this? Continued, I've been determining my gap for the past 3 to 4 months. Should I just start over and see where I went wrong? This might be, it's quite obscure.
I think this is Rebel Finance School related, possibly talking about the gap. So the gap being between what you're earning and what you're spending. And at Rebel Finance School, we talk about tracking that over time to see what is the gap, first of all, and how much does it change over time? Are you going in the right direction? So in terms of Excel and what should you press after you enter, I think Edith's saying like press return when you've typed something in to make sure that it gets captured in the cell. Is that what you meant, Edith? Perhaps you can guide us. Or what are your thoughts, Henry? Because Henry, for a long time, was like my Padawan Excel apprentice, and now he's graduated into being like Grandmaster Excel. So have you got any thoughts, Henry?
I had a crash course. I would call it an accelerator.
Have we frozen?
No, yes, you're back. It's okay. You missed my corny joke, but that's okay. We can move on quickly. I think the thing with Excel is it doesn't work like it's not a Word document. So when you've typed stuff in and then hit enter and then like it just sort of does what you feel like it should. But Excel rewrites everything as soon as you if you go back into the cell, it will just delete it straight away, and like it behaves ever so slightly differently. And if it's not a program you're comfortable with or use very often, it can take a minute to get over it. So I think it's also one of those things that Excel problems are very difficult to solve when you haven't got it in front of you, because it could be a million and one things.
Yes.
But I think
we had an idea.
Go for it.
I don't know if Edith, if you've seen, I did an Excel for Beginners mini course that's on YouTube, and Alan is finding the link now and we'll put it in the chat for you. And it starts right from the beginning, and that's for anyone that's listening and has got a little bit of a love-hate relationship, shall we say, with spreadsheets. This starts right from the beginning, no assumed knowledge, and covers those foundational things you need to know to get using spreadsheets.
And the one thing I would just add, Katie spoke about the gap being related to Rebel Finance School. Exactly the same concept applies to your business. You have the sales you're making, the expenses you have, and you're looking to create a giant gap between them, which is your profit. So exactly the same things we teach.
Oh, I missed the trick there, because we did actually cover that, didn't we, when we came on and did a guest appearance for week 4. So
exactly the same things apply to your business. So please create a huge gap, create a huge profit that you can do good with and look after your family, pay your mortgage and buy pizza.
In that order.
Other things are available.
Other fast food is available.
What's the next question, Henry? Save us before something goes wrong.
Okay, we are going to Giovanna. We have a question about AI Canva, which is super exciting. So I created my website and now Canva is asking me to join Canva Pro for free for 14 days. What happens after that 14-day trial? And then also, how do I edit some of the info, such as working times and days? Thanks.
Henry, this one is definitely over to you.
I love it. So if you try Canva Pro for 14 days, what will happen? Nothing if you just click, I don't want it. So you can choose to just not take the trial, which is okay. Or you can try it for Pro, but they won't charge you until you give them your card information. And if you do, just make sure you cancel it. But everything will still be there. You won't lose anything. They make it so that you can upgrade your account or downgrade it regardless. So you'll be okay. After that 14 days, you'll be okay. And then how do I edit some of the info, such as working times and days? In Canva, it should keyword, be as easy as just going to what you need and double clicking on it and just getting involved. Click on the thing you want to change. What might be happening if you can't click on it, it might be hidden behind something else. So if you right click and click layers, you should be able to reorder what's going on, but it should be relatively straightforward for you. But Canva Pro, it's cool. You don't need it, but it is cool. If you do upgrade it to that, you can always downgrade it afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you, Henry.
How do you find your why? So we talked a lot about what, having a reason why you're doing your business and what you're actually building towards. Or when you know your why and achieve it, do you keep on asking so that you don't lose yourself in the process of being a business owner?
I love that. So here's some thoughts. Number one, I don't believe you find your why. It's not like you go out there searching around and going like, is it in the street? Is it in the temple down the end of the road? Like, is it in Pizza Express? No, your why is not out there. You make up your why and you decide what it is. And I've had many different whys, many different reasons, purposes over the years that I have used to drive me. And most of them have been rooted in the story of my dad and the things he did with our finances, the family finances, and all of that stuff. And with Rebel Business School, my why was based on my dad built business, went bankrupt for £5 million, had a huge amount of debt, lost the family home, like completely changed our lives forever. So that is my why I help people start businesses without debt. And that drove me for years.
Because you don't want them to go through the real deep pain that you and your family had because of the way that your dad built his business.
Exactly. So I had this story from the past of my dad that I used to create my why. And you just make up your why and go for it. And you have to convince yourself that it is the most important thing you can do. And if you can do that, that is an incredibly powerful why that will drive you. And then the second part of the question was, how do you avoid getting lost? The key here, which Kate and I spoke about a lot on week 8, is having a very solid identity, knowing who you are, having very solid values. This is what I stand for, and having a very solid why. This is why I do what I do. And if you have that solid core to who you are, you will never get blown off course by the winds of business. Because if you hold integrity very high up your list, then some opportunity comes along where you have to tell a little white lie to make profit. You will know you will never do that. And that's the key to all of this, is having a super strong values, identity, mission, the beliefs that will hold you strong in the winds of change, which are definitely happening faster and faster at the moment.
Got a follow-up question related to that. Sorry, you got something to add to that, Henry? I was going to slightly change tracks.
Yeah, I could talk for hours about this. I won't. You'll be glad to know, but I could. I've obsessed over the why of Rebel for years, and it's been quite exciting because I joined this team after Simon and Alan had built it. They had their personal reasons why they wanted to do that and why it was so important. I had my own reason why I wanted to be involved. And what I've sort of learned over time is that the business community, business education tends to glorify the why and purpose. And it makes this huge thing that you must know, and you must know it inside and out. And there's nothing else you ever do, ever. And it's not true, because it changes. Because the world changes, you change, the world, like everything changes all the time. It's impossible to have one solid thing that will never, ever deviate, ever. There's a very good book I will recommend, which is called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. Very good book talking about the why, the purpose of why we're here. But my gut feel is that if it feels right, if what I'm doing feels like the right thing to do in this moment, that's what I should be doing. Because any other thing that you do around that, any other thinking that happens, any hallucinations, as Simon would say, I'll take that on board, seeing as he's not here. All of that other stuff is just you thinking and overthinking what's going on. But actually in your gut, you know what the right thing to do is and what you should be doing in that moment. So find something that lights you up now and remove the pressure of finding something that's going to light you up in 10 years, because I can guarantee it won't. Because you will be different and the world will be different and things will change. That's the only thing I want to add.
Love it. A few people said, can you repeat the title of the book? And it is The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. It is a fabulous book, which we've all read in the team.
There was a comment I wanted to pick up on. Mel or someone said, what if my why isn't good enough?
What if my why isn't good enough? My favorite expression from Rebel Finance School is don't compare your pineapples. I always remember talking about the why of Rebel Business School with this other person that had, you have a very big why, Henry. With another person who had an incredible business, he'd done massive good in the world, and he compared his why to mine and judged himself and said, what if mine isn't good enough? What if it's not as good as yours? It doesn't matter. There is no good enough. It's your why. You get to decide. So you just decide what it is, stop doubting yourself, and go out there and make it happen, because doubt will kill your progress. Now, I just want to teach you how to doubt to know how not to do it. If you were going to doubt me right now, let's say I'm going to come up with a why, and your job is to doubt me.
Oh, I'm good at this game.
I know you are. How would you do it? So here's my why. I'm building Rebel Finance School because I want to change the way finance is taught and help people take control of their future.
But you can't really change the world, though, can you? The world's kind of set in its ways, isn't it?
And there is doubt. How do you create doubt? With questions. That is how you create doubt. And people will do it to you almost immediately, and you will do it to yourself.
Oh, I do it to myself all the time. It doesn't really help make progress, does it?
No. So stop doubting, stop asking questions, and take action with what you're doing. And certainty comes from action and energy that you put into doing it. So remove doubt and take action.
Yes. That's my
I've got
why.
a question. I was going to change tracks. I've got a question from Kim.
Do it.
Move on?
Yes.
Donagans, what would you do with the very first £120 you have made from sales? That's a very specific number. I assume, Kim, that you've made that money, which is amazing. Congratulations, Kim. You don't need to outlay any cash to make your next sale. Where could you put this money other than in the bank or blow it? So far, I've got two options: bank, blow it.
Blow it.
What are the other options, Alan?
Well, we have, in Rebel Finance School terms, that would be a gap. You have money, you've created a gap, your expenses are here, your profit's here, your income's here, and your profit is the £120. We have 4 steps that we go through when we're talking about profit. Step 1 is
build an emergency fund of £1,000. So I'm assuming, Kim, that you're a sole trader. So there's really there's no legal distinction, is there, between you and your business? But if you're thinking about this as a profit from your business, which is your money, then what do you do with that money? First thing, build an emergency fund of £1,000.
Step 2, pay off high interest rate debt. So anything with an interest rate over 6%, if you have a credit card, a store card, a bank loan, like anything over 6%, pay it off as quickly as you can. Kim says no debt. Kim gets the second round of applause. What's the third step?
Third step is to build what we call a full emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of your no frills living expenses. We're not trying to cover your income, which actually probably you might not know being self-employed because it's very lumpy and variable. It's covering that so that if something happens with your business, maybe you have a job and you're building your business and your income goes away for whatever reason, having that emergency fund in place when those things happen, just has that really solid foundation that it makes you feel kind of invincible, doesn't it? That you've got this money set aside if something happens.
Which is absolutely critical. If you take our business, before COVID, we were running in-person events. As soon as COVID hit, we lost £250,000 worth of business and had no future income. I am so happy we had a huge emergency fund that protected us. So this is not just about you as an individual, this is about you as a business as well. And then the final step, step 4, is to buy assets. There's a whole Rebel Finance School for that, but just to keep it simple, the asset we choose is a simple global index fund like the FTSE Global All Cap, and we do it in a tax-advantaged way like a SIP, self-invested personal pension, or an ISA, an individual savings account. So that's kind of the quick summary. If none of that made sense, watch Rebel Finance School. We did a whole course to do exactly that.
Completely free, just as Rebel Business Side Hustle Experiment has been. I'll put a link in the chat.
And it's bloody good.
Oh,
Thanks, Henry.
send on.
There was a question, Lauren Spritch, I got it right. Lauren's got a question about, it's going back to, well, the purposeful bit, I think, but it's more of a business structure kind of way. What if you have a why that is to serve the underserved, which is not really profitable? I know you recommend making a shed load of cash, but what if that's not your mission or goal? What if I don't want to make loads of money from this? I just want to do something good.
Well, quite often you need cash to do good. And that's the problem. So the only reason Katie and I were able to launch Rebel Finance School and to help people is we'd hit financially independent so that we didn't have to earn money to be able to do things. But nearly always you need money to pay for your mortgage, to pay for food, to pay for life, even just
Pizza.
to like pizza again, to look after yourself, to be able to do things. So I love that you want to do good. Money will allow you to do more good, and capitalism is one of the most amazing tools for creating change and doing good.
I guess you can also find people with money that want to solve that problem as well.
Which was absolutely my next point. And what we do at Rebel Business School is we find people with cash, they give us the cash so that we can run the course and give it away to the people who need it the most. So you can absolutely find people with money who will pay to help that disadvantaged community. We've done that for about 15 years now in different ways. So go out there, find someone with money, sell them a project that helps the underserved community that you want to help, and you will be amazed at how much of a difference you can make.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, I've got a great question from Mary, and it's a very simple question, but it's one of my favorite ones. How do you price the items that you sell? The biggest question with the fewest words.
The biggest question with the fewest words. I have 3 different ways to do it. Number 1 is cost. How much does it cost you to do the service? And then you build your profit on top of that. So cost. And it depends whether you're doing a service or product, but you can work out the cost. Number 2, what else are people selling out there? So go and look at your competitors, go and look at what other people are doing and see where the price is set. The very first time I sold a training course, that's exactly what I did. I rung 3 competitors, pretended to be a customer and asked their price.
Which, do you then go at the same price? Do you go below? Do you go above? Do you take the average? How do you then?
At that stage, I didn't have much confidence, so I just went in the middle. I think now I have more confidence, so I would give a higher price, but it does depend on your confidence level. And confidence is one of the biggest factors in pricing, makes such a difference. And the final way, so you've got cost, what other people are charging, and then the third way is value. What value are you delivering to that client? And you'd have to work out value in different ways. One example, I used to run time management courses. So I would do surveys to work out how much time people saved after my course. I'd work out their average hourly salary, and then I would show the business that X number of people have saved X amount of time, and at your average salary, this is what you're getting back as a business. So I would clearly show the value of each course I ran was way up here, and then I picked a price that would show I'm delivering great value for money for what they're doing. So that for me are the 3 ways I would price. Cost.
The other one, look at your competitors.
Competitors and value. Thank you. My mind went blank for the middle one.
I think everyone thought we'd frozen, but actually your brain had frozen.
My brain frozen. I'm back now.
That's a great technique. You just practice staying really still and it buys you thinking time. I love it.
It's like those scenes where you get everyone to stay super still that were like popular a few years ago. You know what I mean, don't you? I've got a question from Cindy. Cindy says, I'm curious about the impact of our environment on our beliefs and progress. What's the solution if someone cannot move because literally all the other rooms in the city would cost £200 to £300 more, but my housemates are rather messy? I know about messy housemates. I was even thinking about house sitting, but there's strict rules like you have to be full-time employed. But it's rather impossible to be sure we can cover each and every day of the year. You know, if you're going to be house sitting, how you can't make sure you're covered every day of the year, especially if location is also important as one has to get to their workplace each day without a car. It's a big issue for me, so please help to resolve this, because Cindy's saying like environment is very important, isn't it? If you've got people around you or your home and it's all cluttered and messy, it really can impact your mojo, can't it?
It really can, and it can drag you down. It causes you lots of problems. You've got to take control of what you can. And with these housemates, can you seal them off to a certain part of the building? Can you control your half, their half? What rules can you put in place? Can you talk to them about the impact of what they're doing on you and ask them to help you? You've got to talk about that. And I'm sure you've probably tried that, but as much as you can, positively talking to these people to try and improve the environment for all of you. Second, you said you have to keep your location for work. That makes it tougher. And what I wanted to say was the more musts you have, the more difficult it is, the more expensive it will be, such as I must live here because I have to walk to work. I must do this because I have to do this. And the more musts you have, the more difficult it gets to be able to operate. If you can let go of any of those, then we can start to be more flexible.
Just maybe you could write them out, right? Just so that you get them clear in your head. Okay, I feel like I have to live here because X, Y, Z. And then you can start to see, actually, is that true? Could there be a different creative solution for some of those points?
Exactly. And could you spend money on something else? If the rooms are too expensive, could you live a tube stop away? Could you do this? Could you live a train journey away? Is there a way around it? Is there a house that has people that share the same values as you do? We need to go out and find you a solution. But you're absolutely right. Environment really impacts your state and your ability to make progress. So I would take control of it in any way I could.
And sell a bunch of stuff in your business and make it super successful so that you can afford perhaps fewer housemates or perhaps living on your own. If that is really impacting you, how can we get you the money to be able to fix that? Because sometimes, yes, we can think creatively and maybe there's a cheap or free option. And sometimes it is worth it to spend that little bit of extra money. And I know that might feel difficult at the moment as you're building your business and starting out, but that's something to think about as well. Like, how might I earn the money to be able to change my environment?
Exactly. My favorite expression is earn as much money as quickly as you can and then take care of your problems in style. So sometimes the easiest way is to earn your way out of a situation and change it completely.
Yep. Reminds me of I think it was a Gary Vaynerchuk video. You know, he does those big conferences and then invites random people to just come up and ask questions. Anything can happen. We've been to one live before. It's wild. This guy gave him a rap album. Do you remember that in Birmingham? Anyway, so it was a Gary Vaynerchuk video. If you don't follow his Instagram, it is quite good for entrepreneurial, and it's down the similar line to Rebel, that it's all about action. Just get on with it. But there was one where a guy asked him some questions. It was in America. He wanted to set up a marijuana business, essentially, but the state he lived in, it wasn't legal yet. So how do I solve it? And Gary just went, move. Just move. Like, you can't control anything outside of move. Go where you can do it and start there. Otherwise, what are you doing? So it's brutal and direct, but also sometimes that's the approach you need, because sometimes it's in here that the barriers are being created, just as you've said.
We had a question come in from Anna. Anna says, do you think it's too late to get started to sell online if you're targeting Christmas? Is it too late? Should she give up, Henry?
Nope. You can get up and running in a day.
When are we recording this? It's 24th of November. So we've got a month, right? It's a month long enough?
You have plenty of time. And if you're selling on social media, reaching people, like you can instantly put things out there and reach people. There are so many ways to get going now and take advantage of the Christmas period. Even up until Christmas Eve, people are thinking, what am I going to get the person I love?
Whoops, I've left it too late. Where is Anna when I need her with her online? I made up that it's online. Oh, it is online. Where's Anna with her online service that I need?
Exactly. So get on with it and just start it. Take action, and you will learn so much from doing it.
And unless your product is specific or service is specifically about Christmas, there's no downside, right? Like people are going to continue to buy that beyond Christmas as well. Or maybe buy it for next year as well if it is about Christmas.
Exactly. Or you could sell vouchers that you deliver after Christmas. There's a million options to get going. Did you want to ask that one question, Kate?
Oh, yeah. So you said about the different options for pricing and the three options you had, which was your cost, what your competitors are charging, and then the value that you're delivering. Teresa wanted you to talk a little bit more about the confidence element of this, because it's so key, isn't it? Of having that confidence to say, well, this is what my product or service is worth. She says she's having some issues with that one. So how do you help Teresa and everyone with confidence and knowing your worth when it comes to pricing?
Well, I think there's so many different elements to this. Let's start with a few simple ones. Number one, don't compare yourself to other people. And I always remember Katie used to play football. She played in a team with amazing players and then compared herself to everyone else and didn't feel like she was good enough. She was actually a phenomenal player, but comparison killed that for you.
Thank you.
So do not compare yourself to other people. Know what you're doing helps other people. The second one is actually, if it is a service or a product, you can ask the other people, did this help you? Did you get value from it? Did it work? And you can almost borrow their confidence.
Oh, so you say like, how did it go? What did you think? And if when you get positive responses, you can use that to build the confidence of like, oh, I am doing a good job.
Exactly. Number three is an expression from Simon that he taught me when he first came to work with me, which is spend as much time building your confidence as you do building your business. And then you go back to, how do you build your confidence? Books, podcasts, YouTube courses, like there are so many free resources that will teach you how to be confident. And I have spent so much time learning confidence. And it's a skill, it's a way of thinking, it is a muscle that you develop over time that helps you to make success in life. So work on developing that muscle and building your confidence. Some of the books, the Paul McKenna book, I Can Help You Be Confident, or I Can Make You Confident. Can't remember the exact title, but that's a fantastic book. It's just a learned skill, as with all of these things. So let's help you to develop that skill. Read the top three books, implement what they say, and you will be amazed at how quickly your confidence grows.
I Can Make You Confident by Paul McKenna.
There you go.
I think we could have guessed the name of that book. It's very Ron Seal, isn't it?
Very Ron Seal.
Okay, let's find another question. So Cindy, have we asked this one? Rebel's winning strategies for identifying and connecting with potential sponsors, turning funding applications into compelling and successful partnerships.
I feel like we've covered that quite a lot. It's identify the person you want to, identify the problem they have or the mission the organization has, ask them a bunch of questions to connect with them. Then you basically write a proposal that answers the question or the problem or the pain that they have, send it to them. And if you've done your job properly, by the time you've written a proposal, like you're already at yes stage. You never send a proposal until you are 100% confident that's what they want and they know they want it.
That's it. Absolutely. Livia, so I'm going to move to another question. This is quite a long one, so bear with me. I'm reading it in real time. You've talked a lot about mini experiments and also a lot about perseverance. I'm the type to go all in from the get-go, and now I'm working my way out of 50k of business debt from from following a different program's advice. But I'm also tempted to bounce between ideas too much. At what point is it appropriate to pause and draw conclusions from a mini experiment? When do you decide to pivot and try something else? Love that question.
It is a great question. If you're someone who's prone to having like jumping between ideas, that is going to hurt your progress. And if you imagine I have 3 projects in front of me. I do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, do a little bit of that. Then I come back and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. How much progress do I make on any of those things? A little bit. Whereas if I picked one to go, I am going to go all in on this one idea to know if it works or not. And I throw all of my energy into that one product, that one service. I contact 1,000 people. I do all the sales and marketing. I do everything I can to get that business out there. And I will know in a month whether or not there's feedback. And then we come back to the feedback of the mini experiment. Did the customer like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you make any profit? If there's no green shoots and they hated it, you hated it, and you didn't make any money, change quickly. If there is enough of a green shoot, they enjoyed it, could be better. You enjoyed it, could be better, but we got some learnings, and I broke even, but I think I could make money next time. Then I would do another round of mini experiments to progress. But the key is your laser focus on the one idea and going all in to test whether it works. And I think that's the thing that I would have loved to have found younger Alan and shook him and go, stop messing about with lots of ideas, go all in on the one idea and see if it works.
I think it's an advanced procrastination technique, because if when you're going to come across obstacles and problems and barriers, if you have other kind of irons in the fire, you can just go, oh, well, I'll just go to this other one.
That's too hard.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, well, this is too hard. I'm going to go over here. And having that discipline to say, no, this is the one I'm focusing on. I'm going to do my mini experiment. If when it goes well or not so well, then I'll choose whether to switch to the next one, and being very disciplined about that. But that you've got to build that discipline muscle, haven't you?
Yes, you have. So avoid advanced procrastination methods of having many ideas.
I think something that I've found helpful. So we do mini experiments probably every week in the Rebel team. You know, whether that's figuring out how we run a course, if that's figuring out how we make a new sale, write a new project, you know, whatever it is, we do all of it through mini experiment. Something that I have personally found helpful is figuring out what I want to measure up front. I will know that this worked if I will feel like this has been a good experiment, if like that kind of thing. And it can be vague and it can be broad, or you can be really direct. I know that if I make this much money, it was a goer. But having that upfront agreement with yourself, because what can happen, especially when it's an idea that's a part of you, like all of this stuff is, it's a part of you on the outside. That's why we get so upset when someone says no. If I am so in love with this idea and I made 10 quid, but I didn't set that expectation with myself up front, I'm going to keep going with it because I love it. So actually having that upfront set of expectations, this is what good looks like, this is what successful looks like for me, that will help you make that decision and you'll be really clear about it.
I love that. Building Mel said, what if you have 2 green shoots but not 3? If you have 2 green shoots and you think you can make a go of it, you've learnt, then go for the next stage. 2 out of 3 is great. So if I loved it, the customer loved it, but I didn't make enough money, well, I go, well, okay, I'll try and sell it for a higher price and then I'll have another go. So if you've got 2 out of 3, that is a fantastic way to go.
Anna says, what's the best sales book that you can recommend? I would like an answer from Henry and an answer from Alan, please.
Do you have an answer, Henry? I have 2 that I will recommend.
I reckon one of my one's going to be one of yours. I wrote The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
That is what I've just put a link in the chat. The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes is an incredible sales book for making you think about it. It will challenge the way you think completely. It's a fabulous book. You might find it difficult reading. If you do, that's good. Keep going. It will challenge your thinking. And the second one is a book that changed the way I looked at confidence, which is called Cold Calling for Chickens. And I was a chicken because I was scared of cold calling. And that book really, really helped.
I think we should do one last question and give some closing thoughts. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. Do you have that question?
I do. Alex says, as a 16-year-old that dropped out of school and didn't get any GCSEs, that's a UK qualification for 16-year-olds. I didn't get any GCSEs or anything. I get told a lot that I'm not going to get anywhere in life and I'm not going to be successful due to this. I just want to know the Rebel team's perspective on this. Do you think I'm going to need all those like qualifications and everything or not? I've also noticed I've never used any super difficult maths, English, or science in the past 5 years of being in the real world.
I love that.
Do you need a really long formal education? Do you have to have done like extra advanced degrees and things to be successful in life?
Shall I tell everyone my secret?
What's your secret, Alan?
I never went to university. I barely scraped through A levels.
Which is like the
18-year-old version. I didn't have any of that. And since then, I have taught at Oxford University, Henley Business School, run courses around the world. No one's ever asked for my qualifications. I just did it. You do not need that. There are certain careers you need a qualification. If you're going to do brain surgery, please get a qualification. If you're going to be a gas engineer, please get a certificate. But for most things, if you want to be the best pizza maker in the world, you don't need a qualification for that. You just make the best pizza in the world and you do it. If you want to be the best at time management, read the top 3 books on time management and run a course on time management. No one teaches that in formal education anyway. So just do it.
And actually, for entrepreneurs, it's an advantage not to have been through that formal structure, which often you lose your creativity and your different way of thinking if you've gone through kind of the more conforming formal education as well. So actually, it's an advantage as well.
I definitely see it as my advantage because I don't think like everyone else because I didn't go through university. I have a different way of thinking, which adds value to other people's worlds. So your qualifications definitely don't determine your success in life. And what I would say is you get a formal education at school, that'll set you up, but real education is what happens after school. A self-education is what will turn you into a successful person, earns a huge amount of money. Learn on your own terms afterwards. If you don't like reading, do audiobooks. If you don't like reading, actually learn to read. It is an incredible way to learn, but do audiobooks any way you can. Your qualifications don't matter. Your ability does.
And actually, you love learning, don't you? And it's your self-education that's been the most powerful rather than any formal education.
I hated school. I got bullied the whole way through.
Henry, what are your qualifications, please?
I never went to university. I did pass all my A levels. All of my A levels were in music. So I basically smoked drugs and played the drums for 3 years. I meant played drums. And then I sort of got through the GCSE bit when I was there. I guess like I've got a lot of weighted opinions on this. It's no secret that the education system in the UK, but across the planet, is fundamentally flawed. It doesn't work for most people. It's designed to make us stand up and sit down at the sound of a bell as if we're working in a factory. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but most people don't operate in that way, especially now when we've got so many so much access to knowledge and people are learning things constantly through the access of social media, especially with AI. It's never been more accessible for people to get to where they want to go in life without going through the traditional means. But the traditional means can do everything in its power to make us believe that we can't, because we don't have a bunch of letters and we haven't got those pieces of paper. What I've learned through employment is that a lot of employers, companies will use those pieces of paper and those degrees and those qualifications essentially as a vetting process. They don't actually care that you've gone through and done it. What they want to know is that you've got a certain level of information in your head, or that you know how to do research on a certain time, or that you've been able to get yourself through school. That means you're going to show up every day. That's really what they think about. It's just a way of like sifting through the thousands of CVs that are going to land on their desk. And I'll give you a secret. Most employers, they'll get a stack of CVs, they'll take the top half of them and they'll throw them in the bin because there's so much work and they're only looking at a few. So basically, my view of this thing is that the education system is terrible. We need to educate ourselves more than anything else on everything that we learn. We've got amazing, endless access to all of this education, and there are better ways of doing things. You'll get further by having an amazing attitude and brilliant relationships than you will by having a whole bunch of pieces of paper. Thank you, Natalie. I can hear your applause from here. The school system does not work if you're neurodiverse, of which most of us are.
And just to add one tiny bit, we do respect that teachers and university professors are doing the absolute best they can. And we love that. And that's definitely not what we're saying. We're just saying, educate yourself. You will make so much more progress.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Closing thoughts. The closing thoughts. I have some. Who wants to go first?
You do.
I do. Okay. My closing thought is you can build any life you want to. The only thing that's in your way is you. So what you have to do, someone said, shouldn't I play to my strengths? My strengths are not sales. Like, no one's born good at sales. Learn it. Learn it. You can learn how to be an incredible salesperson, an incredible marketeer. You can build any life you want, and no one's going to hand you the life of your dreams. You have to do it. And that's what this entire course has been about, is helping you develop the skills, the mental attitudes, the ways of thinking that will help you build the life of your dreams. Now, it's up to you. Are you going to do it? And we will be here to support you. We will be here to cheer you on. But it's up to you. We can't do it for you. Sometimes I wish I could, but I can't. So you have to do it. So please create an amazing life for yourself for me. Give me the gift of your happiness and your success, because I will be cheering you on.
I'm not going to follow that. I think that said everything we needed to say.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. We love you all. It's been incredible. If we missed your question, we apologize. Like, we've answered as many as we can. Stay in touch. We love you. Go make it happen. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Love you.
Bye, YouTube.
Is you in there? Is he going to hang up YouTube?
Just wait continually.
I feel like we need credit music.
Alex says, love you, Katie.
Oh, thanks, Alex.